Oh, baby, Wall Street. Oh, they just make me laugh. They're always very, very entertaining. Here we have these folks. They were trampling over themselves to buy every stock in sight after hours yesterday, especially all these tech stocks. And then they are trampling over themselves to sell everything in sight here today in a matter of just hours later, not even 24 hours later. Like, what a time, man. Wall Street always is fascinating. So, in this video here today, we're going to break down exactly what's going on. Why did they rug pull themselves? Like, why were they trampling over themselves to buy these stocks after hours? And then why are they running out of them so fast here today? Okay, we're going to talk about that in this video. We're going to talk about some interesting dynamics that are going on in the market that are very strange. Let's just call it that. We're also going to speak about kind of what I'm up to. Am I making some moves? Am I going to be buying some stocks tomorrow? What moves am I going to be making? Whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So appreciate everybody joining me as always. Thanks so much for being here, folks. If you want to support the channel, you get a lot of value out of the videos I produce for you, then consider joining my Patreon. There'll be pinned comment down there. I'm making moves in my Patreon portfolio tomorrow. Maybe some hedges, definitely some buys. So if you want to keep up to date with everything I'm doing in the market, you can check that out down there. That it was pinned comment. Okay, so NVIDIA obviously blasting higher after hours. Their earnings were amazing. Their guidance was insane. Incredible numbers, right? And the stock was blasting higher, and it seemed like people were just running over themselves to buy NVIDIA stock, right? And then they just sold it and sold it and sold it in pre-market. You know, the stock just kept selling off. And next thing you know, and even at the very tail end of after hours trading yesterday, it was even starting to sell off, right? And here we are, you know, today it opens 400, let's call it 482 or so. Stock drops, comes back, falls again, comes back, falls again, and, you know, we'll see where we trade out, but it looks like we're not even going to hit $500. And after hours yesterday, it looked like $500 was in the bag, the way, you know, folks were just buying that stock up left and right. And so here we have the most important stock in the stock market, NVIDIA, right? Of 2023, at least. It's not going to be the most important stock every year, but for 2023, this is the most important stock in the market. And just like, people are just like, no, and so that's really fascinating. You know, you look at something Tesla. Tesla was up very nicely after hours, pushing $241. Here today, they sold off Tesla, $232 here today, right? Look at Meta. Meta crossed over 300 after hours yesterday, 301. It was looking like, oh, going to be a good day. 290 here today on Meta. Look at a stock like Palantir. Look at Palantir, folks. Now, this is very telling. This is very telling, okay? Let me explain what's going on here with Palantir, okay? Seeing how much that stock all of a sudden went up after hours yesterday, right? And after those NVIDIA earnings came out. And then to see how much it dropped today from over a 4% gain after hours to a 6% drop here today. This shows you that retail is not in control of Palantir even anymore at this point in time. This is now Wall Street's controlling even Palantir. And so if they want to bid this baby up, they'll bid it up. And if they want to drop it like a rock like they did today, where it went from a 4% gain to a 6% loss, they're going to do that. Retail, you know, there's a big retail community around Palantir, but just to be quite frank, now at this point in time, Wall Street controls the stock. And if they want to send this baby up, they'll send it up and they'll bid it up. And if they want to send it down, they will send it right down to the ground, okay? And that was very fascinating. That's like the confirmation you need to kind of see from a stock like that. And like, does retail still control this stock? Nope, not anymore now at this point in time, right? AMD, I thought, was the most telling stock of the bunch. AMD crossed 113 plus, and it's like AMD's getting their lunch eaten in the short term by NVIDIA, right? AMD, incredible company for the long term. Obviously, incredible track record what Lisa Su's pulled off there, but in the short term, they're getting their lunch eaten. NVIDIA just grew revenues 100+%. NVIDIA's revenues were down 18%. Like, AMD in the short term is getting embarrassed by NVIDIA, right? But yet the stock went up nicely after hours. It was just, like I said, Wall Street was literally running over themselves to buy every stock in sight. And they sold it right off today. The stock's down about 7.5%. Oh man, another 10% plus mover based upon where it was after hours versus where it is trading now in this market, right? I mean, take a look at big tech in general. There's a lot of Red Dead Redemption. Snowflake's another good example. That stock went down as soon as their earnings came out. Then next thing you know, NVIDIA numbers come out. And all of a sudden, Snowflake magically recovers in a matter of a few minutes. And all of a sudden, Snowflake's very nicely green. And they sold it right back off into the Red Dead Redemption here today. And you look at that across the board when it comes to tech, it's just red, right? Look at Wall Street doesn't even want to own their favorite dollar store here today. Dollar Tree. down 12% here today. When Wall Street doesn't want to own their favorite dollar store, holy smokers, man, this ain't no dang jokers. What in the world's going on? Looks like literally the only retailer doing well in this market right now is Walmart, it seems like. Outside of them, it just seems like no one's doing well. All the travel stocks down pretty much across the board. By the way, keep Hawaiian Airlines in mind. More for like 2024, 2025, they're going to be going through a very tough time here in the short term with obviously what happened over there, and there's not going to be a lot of people traveling there. But don't be surprised if you start hearing a lot of stories in 2024, 2025 about like, hey, no one's visiting Hawaii, like we're struggling over here, come take trips, and you hear about discounts, and next thing you know, Hawaii comes back. So anyways, just keep that one in mind there. Now, so what happened here today? Why did it go from everybody on Wall Street was trampling over themselves to buy stocks after hours and then just sold everything off? I'll show you exactly what happened here, and then we'll get into some strange stuff, and then we'll get into kind of what I'm up to. So first off here, everything in the Treasury world is moving up. Everything from the short end to kind of the medium end, which is kind of like let's call it the 2 to 10, and then the 10 plus, the long end is moving up as well, right? Now, the market cares a lot about what treasuries are doing right now, and the view is if treasuries are going up, stocks are going down. That's the view, at least here in the short term, because at the end of the day, they're going to say, well, if treasury getting more and more attractive in terms of what you can earn, right? Well, why do I want to be in stocks? And so that's the view. Now, we had a few good days there because the 30-year and the 10-year were going down, but today, the 10-year and 30-year are bouncing back, and next thing you know, it sends all these stocks down. So the market cares immensely about this right now. And when obviously you put into account, obviously Jackson Hole coming up here in the speech tomorrow, that just kind of sends a new boogeyman out there in the market. So this is what's really dictating stocks in general, and especially a lot of these tech stocks right now, is really like the 10-year, the 30-year at this point in time. Okay, not a lot of people are too scared about, because the shorter term ones, let's call it under 2 years. Those ones have been high for a while now. They've been 5% plus for a while, so there's nothing new there. But when you see the 10-year, 30-year, some people are talking about those could potentially hit 5%. I mean, shoot, if that happens, you definitely have some shake around. But, this market's way too calm right now. It's a very strange market, because the market I'm used to over the past 15 years gets freaked out a lot. Gets scared, man. Gets scared. All this stuff, it gets spooked. And it's been too calm lately, like abnormally calm. And we got some crazy stuff going on, right? You got all this stuff with T-Man and all those people, right? And, here we got so I watched that debate last night, if we can call it that debate. I'll be honest, it's probably going to be T-Man on that side, okay? So here we have, a potential next president dealing with, he's already been there once, right? But dealing with this sort of situation, like this is just like this is a powder keg, man. This is a powder keg situation. And the fact that the market's just kind of blown this whole thing off, strange. This is something we've never dealt with. We've dealt with a lot in the stock market before. A lot of the scenario, we've dealt with recessions. We've dealt with inflation. We've dealt with deflation. We've dealt with once in 100-year, pandemics. We dealt with so much crap, sometimes several times, right? We've dealt with, everything, but we never dealt with this. We never dealt with this before. So I'm just telling you, man, that's a powder keg situation there, and the market's just acting like it's nothing. And I'm like, I think at some point this is going to matter, and I think at some point the market's going to pay attention to this, because this seems like kind of big stuff, and they're just blowing it off, right? I watched what happened yesterday, right, with P-Man there. P-Man, all of a sudden he's challenging the other P-Man over there, and all of a sudden, things are somehow fixed over the past, month and a half or whatever, and then his plane just goes down. What happened there? What happened there, okay? Planes don't just fall out of the sky. That's not what happens, okay? Planes don't just fall out of the sky. What happened there, right? People saying that plane fell to the ground like a Coke bottle, right? This person says they heard some sort of big bang before it hit the ground. So was there something on board that went boom? Or was there something that went phew? That's what I want to know. But I'm saying it's probably one of those two scenarios, right? And that has all sorts of ramifications for what potentially is going on over there, right? And so I just looked at something like that and I'm just like, wow, market just blew that off. Like this is kind of a big deal, and the market just like, we don't care about that. And I mean, these are sorts of things that usually would shake up the market and get people talking and get people freaked out and, get ready to hit that sell button. And so it's just, I watch some of this stuff and I'm like, this isn't small stuff. This is big stuff that could have potentially big ramifications. And the fact that the market's just, doesn't really care about it all just seems like a little bit of denial in the short term here. Very, very strange, folks. And so, I've watched a lot of these retail earnings come in really, really bad. And the market has just seemed too calm, like freakishly calm. And I'm like, it just seems like, and then you see a move like today, that rug pull, and it's just like, what's going on here, man? Something's off. Let's just call it that, man. Been in this game too long to see a market acting strange like this. It's too weird, okay? I mean, to make it even more weird, Foot Locker's a one green stock today. You gotta be flipping my flapjacks. 4.5%. Foot Locker, holy smokers, this ain't no dang jokers, okay? Wow. Now, here's what I'm looking at, right? Because I have some hedges on. I have a bunch of different hedges in a bunch of different ways. One of them is obviously Apple. I got several Apple hedges on. And even like with my Apple hedges, I'm trying to figure out with those Apple hedges, like how long do I hold those for? Because most of them all expire kind of toward the beginning of 2023, like the first half of 2024, right? And kind of my views on this is, I don't really want to cover any of my hedges right now. At the end of the day, I need them for protection right now, in case we get this market to really shake around and go down quite a bit. And I look out there and I'm like, I want to have hedges on in this market. We've been way too calm for way too long. I like to have my hedges on. I got a bunch of S-Dow hedges as well, right? Those ones have kind of been hurt substantially, but if you get the Dow to also go down 5-10% in a matter of a few months, those ones will come back with a vengeance very, very quickly, because S-Dow is basically a 3x mover, and if you do that in a short period of time, the move happens pretty fast in terms of downside or upside. So I'm looking out there and I'm like, I actually still feel like I'm not hedged enough in this market, just to be quite frank. I feel like I need to be more hedged. And so I'll be putting hedges on in September. I'll be putting hedges on in October. And I'm going to reassess. And I'm going to consider, do I want to put hedges on in November and December as well? But this is certainly, we're dealing with a lot, man. A lot, in the market's in denial about all these big things. The market's in denial about Fed lags. The market's in denial about what's going to happen in the election next year and the powder keg that's going on there. The market's in denial about China-Taiwan. The market's in denial about whatever's going on in Russia, which that's a whole situation. And then the market's also in denial about a potential of reinflation happening in 2024, right? So I look out there and I say, I need to keep my hedges on, because there's no reason for me to get out of those anytime soon. Not with looking at the gauntlet that we have to go through here. I'd much rather have protection. This is like, you could have auto insurance, or you could be driving through a hurricane with no auto insurance and driving 1,000,000 miles an hour. And that's kind of how I feel, right? You need to have some auto insurance right now. And so that's kind of where I'm at with those, and kind of the way I'm viewing it right now, because yeah, folks, we're in quite a time here, right? Now, in terms of me, tomorrow I'll be buying stocks tomorrow, right? Because basically the strategy I'm deploying right now is a very balanced strategy of, I'm adding to my long positions stocks that I love for the next 3 years, 5 years. They might be in tough times for the next 3 to 5 quarters, but I'm thinking about the next 3 to 5 years with these companies, right? And so there's a lot of great discounts on a lot of great companies for the long term. So I'm going to be taking advantage of those, and we'll speak about some of those stocks. I'm also cashing right now. I'm the heaviest cash I've been probably since 2021, actually. The lowest I was probably ever in cash in recent years was actually at the end of last year. I was very low in cash at the end of last year, like extremely low. And the reason being is I was buying every freaking tech stock in sight, because, their discounts were disgusting last year. It was insane, right? So, and then I'm also hedging, right? So I'm kind of deploying a balanced strategy right here, which I feel like you really need to be balanced in this market. This is not one of those markets you want to be all in. This is not one of those markets you want to be all out. This is not one of those markets you want to be all short. because there's so many risks to each scenario that you got to kind of be playing it the best of all worlds, right? Obviously, I'm always going to be net long, which is certainly where I'm at, but I got that cash there just in case, and I got my hedges on just in case. So this is one of those markets you want to have that just in case type situation, okay? Now, in terms of some of the stocks I'll probably be looking at potentially buying, and once again, if you want to see all the moves I'm making tomorrow, check out my Patreon. That will be linked below. That'll be the pinned comment down there, and you also get to support the channel. Lets me know that you enjoy these videos I put out each and every pretty much day for you guys here, okay? So Amazon, potentially buying Amazon tomorrow. That's definitely a strong consideration. This is my number one stock I've pretty much been buying this year. It's been treating me very, very well. Nike, somewhat newer position for me. This stock just keeps dropping like a rock. I think I got to continue I think I want to build Nike out. If this stock keeps dropping, let's just put it this way. If Nike stock keeps dropping, I really want to build that out to quite a big position over this next 6 to 12 months. So that's one I could be buying tomorrow. PayPal, I mean, PayPal's my number one focus in terms of stock I'm buying right now. No doubt about it. That is my number one stock I'm focused on right now as far as a buy. So high probability I'll buy some PayPal tomorrow. Wynn Resorts, actually, I'm looking at. So Wynn, I actually own the shares in the dividend account, but I'm looking to add more shares of Wynn. Wynn's actually trading very attractively right now. Even in a recessionary scenario, not that worried about Wynn. Macau's business is coming back stronger than ever. Well, I don't want to say stronger than ever, but the strongest it's been in many, many years. Vegas is going to continue to post great numbers regardless of uptimes, downtimes. So Wynn's one of those companies, one of those rare travel-related companies that I don't mind owning in a recession. I don't mind owning in good economic times, so-so economic times. Like, I'll own Wynn kind of regardless of whatever the situation is. And I like that Wynn caters to the highest-end consumers, because those folks, if you got $100 million to your name, well, you're still going to be able to go to the VIP room at the Wynn and have a grand old time on a weekend, right? Cheesecake Factory definitely could be adding some cake. That one's fallen quite a bit here recently. Obviously, dividend stocks are just not in favor right now, which is why stocks like Wynn in Cheesecake just continue to have struggles. So that's one I'm looking to just continue to add for this next 6 months or so. Mattel, Barbie just is the biggest domestic box office hit we've seen certainly in 2023, and one of the biggest we've ever seen on just kind of total sales numbers and whatnot. So that should give a huge boost to Mattel overall for the next several years. It's not like it's just something that helps them a quarter or two. This is something that will help them sell a whole lot of toys over the next many years. So. And they have a pretty exciting slate of movies coming over time, and they've proved that they can make a successful movie. And obviously, not everything's going to be as successful as Barbie. Like, that's a unicorn there. That's one of the most successful movies we've ever seen. But can Mattel make more successful movies? Absolutely. They've proven they can do that, right? So those are some of the stocks I'm going to be looking at potentially buying. And a hidden stock I might actually be buying tomorrow that I'm thinking seriously about is actually the Planet. Planet, I haven't bought that stock in so long. But, it's interesting. I've just been kind of digging back into the Planet recently. Right now, for stocks like Avant, Planet, no one cares about these stocks right now. And I mean no one. No one's talking about or hyping up the MJ space. No one cares about that space. I saw like the only kind of ETF in the space just closed down recently in regards to this. No one cares about any of those stocks. And I'm just looking and I'm like, I went to the Planet location a few weekends ago, just very impressed. It was busy. It was just, phenomenal customer service as it always has been. I did a drive-by then about a weekend ago or so. And once again, really, really busy. And I'm just kind of thinking about like the Superstore location. They got a lounge opening up here very soon. And I was just kind of thinking about the opportunity there. They got the Illinois location opening soon. And, their balance sheet's so phenomenal that even in any sort of recessionary environment they're going to get through. It seems like pricing has bottomed out now in kind of that industry, and it seems like if anything, pricing will start moving back up. They've been actually in huge deflation in that industry for honestly probably a year and a half now. It's been a while. Huge deflation in that industry. And it seems like if anything, things are bottoming and they're going to get a little better. Thank goodness finally for that industry. And the stock's just been absolutely wrecked. It's less than 50 cents a share. And so Planet's actually one I'm strongly considering starting to add shares up again. I think it's just no one's looking at that. And, it's just a great balance sheet company. And I think they'll be able to get it back to profitability. So, but we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of opportunities out there. There's a problem when you get a bunch of stocks falling. you got a lot of opportunities, right? Even I was looking at AMD and I was like, man, should I pick up some AMD, right? Because that's even what I'm considering after that big sell-off here today. And obviously they're getting their lunch eaten for 2023, but I think they'll start to show some promise in 2024 and moving in future years. So, whew, man, yeah. What a time to be in the market. Wall Street pulling rug pulls on Wall Street. You gotta love it. Much love as always, guys. Appreciate you joining me. Thanks for being subscribed. If you want to join my Patreon, check out the pinned comment down there. See the moves I'm making in the market tomorrow. And lets me know you guys enjoy the channel. Much love and have a great day.